Welcome to BizTechTalk. Thank you for joining us. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor. Thank you for joining us today and every Tuesday from noon to 1 for BizTechTalk, where we are hosting discussions with local and national business leaders.
Hey, throughout our show, we're going to be talking to a variety of high-tech professionals and business professionals about the latest technology and business trends which are happening today and coming tomorrow. And, we've had some great shows over the last few weeks, but...
Fantastic shows.
When the one cool thing that just happened last week was the 4th of July. And what did you have a great time?
Well, I did, and I got to spend it with a couple of my loves of my life, my motorcycle and my wife. So.
Oh, my God. Okay, we won't ask you in which order that is.
He already told you.
Yeah, please. If my wife is listening, you are the number one on the list.
Okay. Hey, I was very fortunate. I went down and did the Freedom Fair, which was fantastic. I think it was 120 some odd thousand people, and I was just overwhelmed with all the people out there. And it was a beautiful day. Had lots of stuff and things to do. I couldn't believe all the different opportunities that we saw out there. So just amazing. The other thing that was kind of fun was where we finally ended up watching it. There's a little point by the by Point Defiance, a little piece of property out there at the end by the ferry terminals and the Tacoma Yacht Club. We sat out there and were able to see an amazing sight, pretty much all by ourselves, watching the Tacoma fireworks, the Puyallup fireworks, the Des Moines fireworks, the City of Seattle fireworks, the Bremerton fireworks, and the Gig Harbor fireworks all at once. And I just couldn't believe it. What an amazing way to see it.
Is that going to be a new park?
Yes, it will. It'll be a big park here as soon as the road is complete through there, and then the path is, and they'll mow that over, top that soil off, and we're gonna have an amazing park right at the end of a place where nobody's been able to get to for quite some time. And I know I went out there and said no trespassing, but I said give me forgiveness, or after
It's better to ask for forgiveness.
Yeah,
than
I
get
figured if
permission.
someone comes out there, it'd probably be over with by then anyway. But hey, it was fun, and we weren't that far into it. We were just right there checking out the end, and just amazing though. I was blown away by the people who I thought were the craziest people on the planet, and they were in a little rowboat right next to the water, sitting there watching right next to the shore, and watching this thing with no lights on. And as a mariner, I'm thinking, are you crazy people? Because it's dark out. You have no lights off. And the minute the fireworks were over, hundreds, and I mean hundreds of boats just came flying across the sound. And I thought, you poor people, you are going to get swamped. So they... I don't know if we've seen them or not. They may still be out there. Who knows? We haven't heard any missing people.
Well, we haven't heard it on the news. It's been a few days, so
exactly.
Maybe they're safe,
But it looked to me pretty scary for what, they could have joined us on shore and been a lot safer.
And they probably just rode around the cove and pulled it in, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping they did, because it was just an amazing place to sit there. And they probably had a good little private time out there, but we did. We had an awesome time.
Well, and it sounds like there was a huge turnout, and that was actually one of the reasons that Stacy and I hopped on the bike and took a ride around the sound, because it was such a beautiful day. And man,
I mean, I know you can't see me on the air or anything like that, but I got a little bit of sun this last week, and I'm telling you, it's just I'm burning, and I know I'm going to be peeling very
hey,
shortly.
and as far as it goes for me, that's my third favorite, right after Veterans Day and Memorial Day. So
we talked about that.
One of the things that we like to talk about is hiring vets and helping vets out, and when they're coming home, and giving them the resources that they need.
Yeah, and you know what? Just celebrating the fact that, they've done a lot of things for us to make this country as free as it is, and to give us the opportunities that we have. So, in our opinion, if you out there have an opportunity that you can provide for our veterans, or the people who own veteran businesses that are owned by veterans, go out there, search them out, and do business with them. Give them the opportunity to do the business. Don't just give it to them. We want to earn that opportunity, but give them the opportunity also to be employed by you. Check out their resumes, because politely said, vets can get stuff done.
That's very politely said. And I was very warm this morning as I met with a business owner, and we were talking about hiring vets, and he said, hands down, if he had a choice between hiring a young man or woman coming from the military or somebody just coming off the street, he'd take the military just because of the discipline that they have and the work attitude.
Yeah, and that, I've seen a lot of things, out there. People are really promoting the fact that, we really need to let more people understand that nature of service. And, I think today's a paper actually mentioned one of the former commanders of the Iraqi and Afghanistan theaters had said that it's time to end the all-volunteer army and go to the from a professional army to a United Citizens Army. And even though it might not be professional, it would be better served. And when everybody's invested in things like these conflicts that we have and wars that we have, then more people will be involved, and we'll have more voices instead of just those people saying, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't affect my family. And I think that's an important piece of the equation that this guy brought up, and I think we should always think about that.
Well, I think it's important to get everybody involved, and my personal opinion is that if you say it doesn't affect your family, you're out there by yourself, because it really affects everybody.
It does.
Regardless.
It does. And
so,
you know what? And this guy, we're not talking about serving military. There's many different ways to serve your country, and different ways from the forest fires, parks, whatever it is. There's lots of different ways from AmeriCorps that you can do service to the country. And we should always chip in, because I think as I think FDR said, we need this is our country. We need to take care of it.
We do. And while we're thinking about taking care of it, why don't we go ahead and take a break, pay some bills. But if you have an opportunity out there, thank a veteran.
Thanks so much.
And this is Mel West. You're listening to Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at officeandicon.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM Business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at aimbiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to aimbiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Hey, welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional, here with
Mel West, your business advisor.
We're on Clay 1180 every Tuesday, noon to 1. Don't forget to visit us at BizTechTalk.net. Listen to our shows, download our podcasts, and email us with your comments or suggestions at info@BizTechTalk.net. We're also on YouTube and Google Plus and Facebook, so like us there and so forth. And today we're going to be talking to Rick Allen, who's the president and CEO of United Way of Pierce County. We're going to be talking about why should businesses give to charitable causes in their community and how it's important to them and what's the opportunity that presents to them for doing so. So Rick has been the president and CEO of United Way for Pierce County for 19 years, so he's got a pretty big tenure there. And during this time, he's helped United Way transition from a fundraiser to a leader in community change. United Way works with over 400 businesses throughout Pierce County at over 600 different locations. So it helped develop resources to support vital local programs and efforts to impact the toughest issues in our community. In addition, United Way also brings together partners who can advance key community-wide efforts like early childhood development, affordable housing, and access to health care. And Well, since its inception in 1921, United Way has helped raise millions to fund local human service programs as directed by the United Way Citizens Volunteers. They do so much, and in 2011, they connected volunteers to more than 165,000 volunteer hours, an additional 133,000 hours through the United Way of Pierce County Varsity Letter in Community Service Program. And so Rick himself has served on the following positions as the director of Pierce County Community Action Agency, where he started numerous early childhood development programs, manager of state housing programs for Department of Community and Development, where he assisted in the startup of the Washington State Housing Finance Commission, 8 years at PLU, including the role of VP for Student Life and Dean of Students, where we talked a little bit about that and the realities there at PLU. And he worked in other stints at higher education and at Ohio University, Illinois State, and University of Detroit. And most notably, Rick is a U.S. Army officer during the Vietnam era, serving in the infantry and jumping out of airplanes, perfectly good ones probably, and helicopters, leaving the Army as a captain. With over 500,000 troops in Vietnam, Rick was lucky enough to spend most of his time in Europe. So he has a doctorate in public administration from the University of Southern California, a master's in public administration, and a master's in interpersonal communication from Ohio University, and another BA in journalism from Eastern Washington. He is a lifetime student. So,
a lifetime learner.
Lifetime learner. Well, hey, Rick, thanks for joining us, and really it's a privilege and a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah,
so tell
thank
us,
you.
before we get started and move into a discussion about business support for charitable causes in the community, can you tell us a little bit about the United Way?
Well, you kind of gave a good overview there. I think the main thing that we do is try to measurably improve the lives of people in our community. I mean, that's the real mission is that. A lot of people for a long time thought of our mission as raising money, but the question is for what? I mean, you can raise a lot of money, and if you don't do the right thing with it, it's not very good money. So really, it's about changing people's lives, and in particular those people who are in special need of one sort or another. Just to give you an example, you're just talking about the veterans earlier. One of the things that we've tried to put together is a program called United for Military Families, where the entire community should be getting behind the military veterans and families who sacrificed so much for 10
and we
years.
have a huge number of people in this community.
And
it's only growing.
Honestly, Americans, citizens, have not been taxed one extra dollar for any of the wars over the last 10 years. And some services to veterans and families have actually been cut back in that time because we haven't paid the bill. So we're trying to address that through some work we're doing with foundations and some others. And so that's the kind of work we do. We bring people together around really critical issues. And Fort Lewis and McCord and Madigan and the National Guard are such a big presence here, and they're so important to our economy. And all of those people have sacrificed a lot. I mean, some of those folks have been deployed 5, 6, 7 times.
That's really hard on a family.
It's unbelievably hard on families.
So are you guys more of a collaboration then?
Well, we do a couple of things. One is we do help fund a safety net of services in human services, which cover a wide range of services that people may need who are in crisis. That's all the way from food banks to shelters for abused women and things like that. So there is a safety net that we do help fund. In addition to that, we identify major issues in health, education, housing, and other areas that require kind of a systems view as opposed to a program view.
Okay.
How do we work collaboratively in a really kind of community way, and what role can United Way play to help facilitate that? So those are kind of the two areas.
How many organizations currently are in Pierce County that you're supporting?
We, well, first we work with 400 businesses and 600 business sites. They're partners of ours.
Oh, awesome.
We work with approximately, we fund approximately 65 to 70 nonprofits who are in this program service area, direct service area. And then we work in a collaborative way with the public sector, the private sector, the nonprofit sector on some of the really big systems issues. So it's hundreds and hundreds of organizations and people that we're working with all the time.
So what are some of the biggest victories that you've seen in the terms of charitable organizations impacting our community here?
There are some really great stories. I mean, I think about the Boys and Girls Clubs and how they've expanded service across the community.
Oh, that's just an incredible. I was been involved with them for almost 20-some years and saw it grow from 5 small clubs into the huge organization it is today, servicing a heck of a lot more kids than it ever has before.
Absolutely. And even in this cutback environment over the last 5 years, they've still expanded service. They've had to shut down a couple of facilities just to make sure they could make their budgets and things. But when they did that, they figured out other ways to serve more kids.
And haven't they built new buildings as well?
Built new buildings. The Milgard Foundation has been fabulous working with them to build things right here in Lakewood, for instance. The Hope Center here in Lakewood is a good example. But there are many others. The Goodwill has done a great job helping people with employment who have special needs. They've just been doing a great job.
We talked about them and their REACH program just last week.
Yeah, they're great. The Tacoma Community House has been doing a fabulous job for years and years and years, working in particular with immigrants and helping them to be successful in a new culture. They've been doing that for years and years. I think it's 100 years that they've been doing that in Pierce County.
So we're a little bit ahead of the game. I mean, when it comes to this community, I'm proud to say that we actually think long term. And I think that 100 years goes out to prove that point.
Community health care has expanded health service for people who don't have health insurance. The YMCA has some really good leadership, and they've expanded greatly. There are some great stories out there. But then you think of other things that are nonprofits you don't typically think of. Our hospitals are nonprofits.
Yeah, and they seem to be expanding on a rapid pace. But then so does my rate.
And they're challenged as well, though.
Oh, they are, and they're doing fabulous work. We have some great hospital systems in this community, and we have other nonprofits like our museums. Geez, if you think about what's happened with the Tacoma Art Museum, the Glass Museum,
we
LeMay
talked about
Auto
this the other
Museum.
day. This would be a perfect site for a tourist destination if we can get cruise ships in here doing that.
The Children's Museum downtown now, at the fabulous location. I'm biased. They're in our building, but they're on 15th and Pacific. They've doubled and tripled the amount of people coming in there just in the last several months.
The location does help.
Yeah.
Well, Rick, what is your experience with businesses in Pierce County in general been like?
I got this job 19 years ago, and I thought my most difficult job was going to go out and talk to businesses and to get them to become engaged in philanthropy. And what I learned was the toughest job was not raising the money. The toughest job was giving out the money because you have to make so many decisions that disappoint so many people. And I found in working with the businesses that every single business I talk to, even those businesses that don't participate in the United Way community campaign, are doing something philanthropically. Every single one. I have yet to meet one business in Pierce County in 19 years that's not doing something philanthropically.
So why is it good business for them to participate and to be charitable?
Yeah, what's good? What about it is for business is good for them to be charitable? What gives them?
Well, first of all, you have to remember that every single person who's working for them is a member of this community. Every single one. And if the community's not working for the people who are working for them, it's not going to work for them.
And this really is a community approach to business, and that's one of the things that I like to say is what I do is a community approach to business, and what helps one of us helps us all, and that's really what the United Way is all about, right?
We are. Some people choose not to work with us because they have their own philanthropic interests and they give directly to folks. What concerns me about that, though, is that really to reach critical mass on some big issues, early childhood is a good example of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we want to be the best early learning community in the United States, it's going to take work with 1-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and 6-year-olds. And some of them are with family, friends, and neighbors. Some of them are with child care. Some of them are with Head Start and ECAP. Some of them are just transitioning into kindergarten. And each one of those kids is learning a different thing at a certain age. So you have to have a business plan for how to make that whole system work together. And to make a system work, you have to have everybody on board. And if we don't have everybody on board on some of these issues to reach critical mass or the tipping point, we're not going to reach critical mass or the tipping point. So there's a good side to having people do their individual things as a business, But the bad side is if they're not participating in the overall effort on a few critical issues, we're just not going to get there as a community.
That's interesting. Now, is that a place where maybe the United Way is helping new parents actually look at it? Because a lot of times they're making a decision whether they go back to work, say a new mom or whatever, or pay child care.
Well, typically, United Way is not doing the direct service. United Way brings together, in this particular case, I'll use this as an example of what we do in terms of facilitating collaborative efforts. We brought together about 35 organizations that all are involved in early learning programs in Pierce County. They're all independent programs funded differently. And we called them together and said, okay, how are you all doing? And around the table, all of them in their individual programs were doing quite well. And so the question, and I'm going to paraphrase this and put it in much simpler form, I asked was, well, if we're all doing so well, why are almost 60% of the children in Pierce County entering kindergarten not ready for school?
Because we're all doing it in different ways.
Yes, and we're all working independently. And so what are we going to do about that? We have to think about how do we each change what we're doing that's going to leverage the work of someone else so that we begin to get leverage out of all these great programs that we have going on and work in a systematic manner.
So do you find that this, how management in a company thinks about charitable causes and their community support and their employees, does that have an effect on that to get involved? Or what's
Absolutely. In fact, in this particular case, just to continue with this example, one of the things we decided is that we as a group, all of us, decided that we needed to engage business in the support of early learning. So United Way agreed to go out and talk to some of the key corporations in Pierce County and ask them to become early learning legacy partners. People like Rainier Pacific Bank, who's now Umpqua Bank, people like Columbia Bank, people like Tote, people like Concrete Technology, folks like that, who are kind of iconic companies that have been here for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. And we asked them to up their commitment to charity in a particular way to fund this early learning business plan, to make a 5-year commitment, and to make it pretty substantial, and that we didn't want them to take that money from any other charitable gift to give to this new area. And they all stepped up.
Well, that sounds like an awesome way to, put together a plan and implement it and so forth. But I think it's also a time for us to...
Let's go ahead and take a break
Take
here.
a break, exactly.
We're with Rick Allen, the CEO of United Way of Pierce County. And when we come back, let's talk a little bit about how maybe there's a difference between how managers or management executives look at it versus their employees. And this is Mel West. You're listening to KLLY.
And I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
I know you've been thinking about adding video to your website. Don't put it off any longer. Your customers are about 75% more likely to purchase your product after learning about it in a video. Gabe Medina Productions is ready to help you put a face to your business and show your customers why your company is the better choice. We want to work with you because we want to see your business grow. Go to GabeMedinaProductions.com or call 206-250-0735 for more info. That's 206-250-0735.
Be a part of Tacoma's Waterfront Association, a dynamic organization dedicated to making Tacoma's waterfront a great place to visit and do business. Join them the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Crow's Nest at the Tacoma Yacht Club to hear exciting guest speakers and see what's happening on the waterfront. Be a part of the community strength. Make a difference along Tacoma's magnificent 46 miles of waterfront. For more information or to become a member of the Tacoma Waterfront Association, visit tacomawaterfront.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional, and I'm here with
Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, don't forget, we're here every Tuesday on Clay 1180 from noon to 1 at BizTechTalk.net. You can find our shows, download our podcast, and you can find us on Facebook, Google+, and YouTube. Today we're talking with Rick Allen, the CEO of United Way of Pierce County. And as we entered the break, we were talking about how the differences in management in a company and the community support and their employees, how that affects the giving and the way that people happen to provide their support. And now we want to talk about the corporate leadership and the differences and find out what your experiences are with regards to that throughout your time at United Way.
Well, the good news is they both care.
Yeah,
they do. Everybody cares. It's in how you are able to express that care that differs a little bit. For a corporate leader, they have to be concerned about the alignment with their corporate philosophy, their alignment with what they think the community needs in their talk with other leaders in the community. And for employees, it's often about where they've received help, or where their parents have received help, or where their kids have received help. So
it's a personal connection.
Yeah, it's a much more a personal connection for them. A lot of companies now are forming employee groups who actually help them decide where to make charitable gifts, and that's a great thing because it's engaging more people in the whole issue of how do we make our community better.
Do you also see this as a way of broadening the morale or raising the morale in an organization?
It often is. In fact, we see when we run our own campaigns, because we work in those 600 different business sites, the 400 different businesses, and part of what we see almost every time is that when those campaigns are run well and they make them fun, and it's not about just give us money, it's about how do we make the community better, everybody gets on board. If it's about here's a pledge form, everybody needs to give money because we want to reach a certain goal, that'll only take you so far. You've got to really make it about something you all agree on.
But, one of the things that I hear from a lot of folks out there in the business community is, dollars are tight and so forth, and they also marketing dollars are tight. And so they got to think, what's in it for me? I mean, what is it? What's in it for them? What's in it for a business owner when they give the money to a specific cause, A, B, or C?
Well, people want to participate in businesses that are participating in their community. I mean, the more you feel a connection with a business, the more you're going to be supportive of that business. And if you get the sense that that business doesn't really, participate in some of the really important issues in my community, why should I go there? I've even read where, for small businesses in particular, they're much more likely to get loans to expand if they have good connections in the community, because the people at the banks talk to people and they know whether or not those people are really connected or not. And if they're not connected, the chances of them getting a loan is a lot lower.
Yeah, so sitting in your shop and just coming into the people every day, in and out, and not getting involved and pushing yourself, it can be detrimental.
In my view, it can. And in the view, apparently, of some bankers, it can.
Well, it's all about the relationship.
Exactly.
It's about the relationship with your community.
And so that leads into another question. How would you define corporate social responsibility?
Well, I define, everybody's going to define this a little bit differently, but I define it as the corporate desire and to not only have that slogan on a board hanging on a wall in your lobby, but the corporate desire to make that part of your priority as everyday action based on, first, the needs of the community. You can't ignore your own strategic direction and wanting things to align, but sometimes they may not align, and you still need to be involved philanthropically with your community. So I'll make up an example. Say, for instance, you really believe that workforce development is the most important thing in the world. But in your community, you have the greatest workforce development system on earth. And what's really needed is money that should go into shelters for abused women. Well, if you decide as a corporation that you're just going to continue to pour money into the workforce development stuff because that works for you, I'm not sure that's corporate social responsibility. That's corporate social self-interest. And really, I think the interest of the community has to come first to be corporate social responsibility.
How have you seen technology impact your side of the business?
It's changing everything we do. We used to be United Way used to be the easiest way to give because it was at your workplace. Every year, you'd have a campaign. You'd get a pledge form. You'd fill it out. You'd get the money taken out on a monthly basis. And that was easy. Today, you pick up your iPhone and you click about 1 second and you've given $10 to your favorite charity. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it now.
Oh, yeah.
But what you lose in that is it's real easy to give money.
Well, you lose the connection. You're not going to have very much communication with them.
Right. And the relationship with your community is really important. I mean, really strong communities have engaged citizens. They're engaged in volunteering. They're engaged in discussions about what's wrong and how it can be better. They're engaged in advocacy around the issues they think are really important. They are engaged. And just doing a check is almost, I hate to say this because we use pledge forms in some of our businesses, and that's all they do is pledge forms. But it's almost as bad as just doing pledge forms. Here, give us your money. It's not about just here, give us your money. It's about how do we want to get
connection
those
or relationship then?
Well, with those pledge forms, one of the things about those is that you give United Way, and then you can also determine what they call donor voice.
Right.
And that means that you can say, well, I want my money that I pledged to go to a specific charity, and that charity should get all of this and not just a piece of it.
Right.
Otherwise, the money goes to spread out the way that you deem appropriate. Is that how it works?
We actually have citizen volunteers who make that. That's not a staff decision.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just
trying
to figure it out.
So all United Ways are local. Most people don't know this. They're all local. It's not driven by policy from some central place.
In Atlanta or something like that.
The National United Way is a co-op that all the locals form. And out of that, we form learning communities. Then we have our national conferences and learn things from each other and stuff like that. And we have trends that we see that we kind of adopt. But really, we're run by, like my board of directors is 40 people, all from Pierce County. And I report to those 40 people. And then we have citizens who make decisions about where to best invest the money. And they interview other nonprofits who've applied for the money. They go out and visit the sites in some cases. They make those recommendations then to the board of directors, who are also all volunteers.
So how does a nonprofit become a part of the United Way community?
Well, we typically don't fund folks unless they've been around for a couple years and they have strong boards. They have to be good, and they have to have a solid background and reputation for delivering service. And if they don't, we don't fund them. Or if they do and then they fall off the wagon, we don't invest them anymore. We do not allocate money. We used to call it allocations. We don't do that anymore. We invest. And we invest expecting the return to be people who are getting the help are better off because they got that.
So more outcome-based evaluation process.
Totally outcome-based. And we started that in 1993.
So you want to explain a little bit about what outcome-based evaluation process is?
Outcome-based evaluation process means there has to be a specific outcome for the money invested that you can measure, and you can show that the person is better off in some way, shape, or form than before you started trying to assist them.
You just can't say, hey, well, I need money to do this. Well, what does do this mean?
You got to prove what this is, and you got to show how it's going to be measured, and if you're not measuring it, you're not going to get money.
And that's pretty much
good.
that's gone across a lot of organizations now, not just the United Way,
Absolutely. And it started in the early 90s. We were one of the early adopters in Pierce County, in the nation, actually. And almost all nonprofits in this community now are using a logic-based model to get to evaluation and proof that what they're doing is really good. That's why I could tell you all those victories that we're having. We know that these organizations are producing great outcomes.
Now that's your citizens panel that goes and reviews those and the outcomes based and
Right.
and all that and makes those final decisions.
Right. And then they make the final recommendations to the board,
Okay.
who are also volunteers. The board then asks them all kinds of questions about, okay, how did you get to this conclusion? And then the board decides.
So how does it, now that we know how a nonprofit works in there, how does a business get involved? Is it size related, or because any small business can be working with the United Way, or does it have to be a certain size? What?
No, they don't have to be a certain size. What they have to be is committed to helping the community, and we'll work with them to get there. Our model has typically been a larger business model because it's just economy of scale. We only have a staff of 30 people that works with those 400 businesses and 600 business sites. And some of those are marketing people, and some of them are administrative, backroom fiscal people, and some of them are community impact investment people. So they're not all campaigners. We only have a campaign staff of like 6 or 7, working with 600 or 700 business sites.
Oh, but we have like 80% of all the businesses are small businesses, so you're missing a whole big market.
Well, we've been working on a design that is, in fact, technology driven. Right now, we're talking to a potential partner about how to use technology to help small businesses get more bang for their philanthropic buck, and to then go to them and sell this product that will help them get more bang for that philanthropic buck.
Can you give us a little teaser on kind of what that looks like, or?
It looks like it would allow folks to have their own website, their own philanthropic website that's in the cloud, and that they would be able to then articulate what they're doing in the community in a specific way and make specific choices and allow their employees to take part in that. Because most
they
small
track
businesses
their outcomes, you're saying?
Yeah. Most small businesses would have 4, 5, 6 employees, not 50 or 60 or 70, and so their ability to spend the time on that is a lot less. So they need to have somebody do that for them. And typically that hasn't existed yet, but that technology is quickly being developed. So we're trying to be kind of a first player there. And so, in fact, I'm meeting with a group on Thursday that's developing some of this software and hardware, both. There's some stuff you have to make it work.
Well, that's great. Why don't we go ahead and take a break here, and we'll come back after a couple minutes.
I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor. You listen to Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at AimBiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to AimBiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Be a part of Tacoma's Waterfront Association, a dynamic organization dedicated to making Tacoma's waterfront a great place to visit and do business. Join them the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Crow's Nest at the Tacoma Yacht Club to hear exciting guest speakers and see what's happening on the waterfront. Be a part of the community strength. Make a difference along Tacoma's magnificent 46 miles of waterfront. For more information or to become a member of the Tacoma Waterfront Association, visit tacomawaterfront.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, we're here every Tuesday, noon to 1, and don't forget to join us on look at BizTechTalk.net and download our shows and all that kind of stuff. And we're on iTunes at the iTunes Store and Facebook and so forth. And hey, don't forget, today we're here with Rick Allen, CEO of United Way of Pierce County, and we've been talking about corporate giving and why it's good for your business to get involved in the community and be charitable. So, Rick, when we left the break, we were talking about the main reasons people should be giving to their community and so forth. And so, but turning to the impact of technology on businesses such as yours, we talked a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit more about the innovations. We were talking a little bit about that teaser of what's been going on. So what are people going to be doing, and what can they expect to come out of United Way in the future with regards to technology?
We're already working with a number of our major businesses on what we call e-pledge. So they now are working a lot of their gifts through an online process as opposed to the old pledge forms.
Yeah, I think Tacoma had some really innovative places that started here. I think Brandon, I remember, started, I can't remember his last name right now, but he started a online donation station or something like that.
There are a number of people who are experimenting with that kind of stuff, and United Way is also doing that. So, for instance, we're working with Weyerhaeuser. I think at Multicare, we also use an e-pledge process where they don't get the old pledge forms anymore. They're talking directly to their folks through email and stuff about the campaign. It's a completely different campaign than it used to be.
Well, it's definitely
years ago.
electronic, but how have you guys used social media? So where maybe you talked about earlier where you've lost some of that contact because of it's just like writing a check or whatever.
That's a great question. One of the things that became really obvious to us when social media, just in the last 3 or 4 years has just boomed. A lot of times for many companies, they wouldn't give us even the names of the people who are making gifts. They would just say, here's the money. It represents 130 gifts. So we weren't even able to thank the people, the individuals. We would just thank the company. Well, there's often a breakdown between that thank you to the company and the thank you that gets back down to the individuals. So we've really focused on customer relationship management, meaning not only the corporation, but the individual who's giving in that business. So a lot of our work now with social media is trying to learn who those donors are, connect to them around their particular interests. Many of them are interested in education, or they're interested in healthcare, or they're interested in something that we're doing, but we haven't been talking to them about that. So we're using social media to connect around those issues.
So this gives you a real link to those employees where you'd
to a
otherwise
personal
not
relationship.
have
We're really moving to personal relationships.
So how are you deploying social media? Do you have a social media expert in-house?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, the new executive vice president that I just hired, who came from Milgard, was their marketing person, and they were using social media already, and she's brought a really lot of knowledge to our organization about that. And our own marketing folks have been doing a lot of training in that area, and we're on Facebook and all those places. That we're using LinkedIn for community conversations and stuff like that. So we're trying to get there as quickly as we possibly can.
Well, do you see any potential downsides to those charitable efforts as technologies allow people to instantly connect and give gifts?
It's the biggest downside to me is the one I'm kind of alluded to earlier, and that is if people go to the point where all they're doing is just clicking and giving money, and they're not engaging in other ways, you're losing a vital connection. So even in the places where we do e-pledge, we still want to go into those companies and talk about, hey, here's how your money is being used. Here are the successes you're creating. Here are the wonderful things that can happen if we all work together. That's a vital conversation. And the other issue is we can't, if we just let people give to wherever they have a particular interest and don't talk about those key issues that require critical mass.
Well, the tipping point we talked about
And the
earlier.
tipping point, we're not going to get to the tipping point. So those are my concerns about it. It's too easy to be convenient, which America loves, and it's a little bit more difficult to be focused.
When you have a smaller staff like you have, do you have ways that you have larger meetings and or presentations or conferences, luncheons, things like that? I think we all see the companies out there with the annual breakfast, annual luncheon and stuff like that to tell us what they're doing. Do you have like that, something like that can bring the smaller businesses in who you can't reach out to individually all the time?
We have an annual community celebration. It's all about everything that's going on in the community that's been great, great victories that we've kind of talked about earlier. We're working on this small business model, which tries to get to the issue you're talking about. How do we bring the people together in one place where we can talk about something? And that might be electronically, it might be through social media, not through the traditional let's all get in the same room stuff, because small business owners can't take time off to get in a small room.
It's really tough.
Yeah. So we've got to figure out a different way to do it.
So what's been kind of your most effective way to get the word out through today then?
To get the word out to...
Well, you were kind of talking about the tipping point, and and so everybody kind of, and I'd almost call it like a funnel, where you're funneling,
Our method now is to have one-on-one talks with business leaders. Like I'll go talk to Melanie Dressel at Columbia Bank about early learning, or I'll go talk to, when Russell was here, I'd go talk to their CEO about whatever issue. It was more one-on-one with the CEOs because they had the power to pull the trigger. We need to get beyond that, and we need to get beyond that with the everyday individual donor who's given $100 a year, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands.
Yeah, they're
going to
make up a lot bigger than the single big corporate ones. I think that we found that in the last several election campaigns where the large corporate donors are only so big, but those smaller grassroots people, the ones that really are close to the community, are going to be your valuable assets. And
yes. And one other thing we're doing is we're working with youth a lot now. We have the only county in the entire United States where every single school district and every single high school is offering a varsity letter in community service, just like a varsity letter for athletics. And they have to give 145 hours of volunteer time to earn that varsity letter. And it started out 10 years ago with 7 students from 5 high schools. Our last event had 1,200 people there. There were 554 students getting the varsity letter in community service from 36 high schools in Pierce County.
And that originated here?
That was an idea that developed right here.
That's amazing, because I was kind of curious.
We are innovative out here, aren't we?
When we look
the
at
only county in the United States.
That's amazing.
Are we still doing the only one that are doing it?
Well, it's now in 4 other counties in Washington, and it's been picked up in Michigan, Minnesota. Somebody in Oregon has been talking to us, and Arizona.
We need to promote that big time. That should be a completely
every high school should offer a varsity letter.
And I think that's vital to the communities and stuff. I mean, when you start the youngster, the kids are young.
Well, it goes back to our first conversation about everybody serving, everybody providing service to the country.
It's spectacular. You should hear some of the stories. Some of these kids are given 500 and 600 hours. They're going to Nicaragua and building homes. It's just incredible. And they're kids in wheelchairs and disabled kids who are doing stuff with their families and earning a varsity letter that never would have been getting a varsity letter from their high school before. It's spectacular.
I think that is fantastic, and I want to say thanks a lot for all that effort and for getting that out there in the community. But before we sign off, any final thoughts or comments on business and its support of the charitable causes in our community?
I think the most important thing people need to know is one of the things I alluded to earlier. I have not met one business in 19 years that's not doing something for this community. That's pretty darn spectacular.
Oh, that's fantastic. Rick, thanks for joining us. How do we find you? out there?
We're on 15th and Pacific, right where the Children's Museum is in downtown Tacoma. And if anybody wants to call and ask to get connected in some way, we're at 272-4263. That'll get you to our receptionist, and we'll direct you wherever you need to go.
What's your website?
UWPC.org.
Okay, that's easy enough to remember.
United Way of Pierce County, UWPC.
Oh, easy enough to remember. Hey, again, we want to let people know that we're thinking about the veterans and the veteran-owned businesses out there. Take a look at vets. Take a look at veteran-owned businesses. Do what you can to get our nation's veterans back to work and helping them to support their families as the way they supported you in this country, and giving you the freedoms and the opportunities that you have enjoyed.
And this is just another great example of being able to help our military veterans and take it one level further, because it really is a community, So there's a lot of great things happening. I think that youth thing is fantastic.
Yeah, setting a standard that we should progress all the way through life. And as the kids grow and so forth, their families will get that, and it'll go on for generation after generation. We're not going to have a one-shot thing. This will be generational and legacy born, and I think right out of here in Pierce County, I think that's just amazing.
Yep, and then, speaking of local, what are we going to do next week?
Oh, next week, Go Local is going to be here. Patricia Lacey Davis will be here, one of the president and founder of and a person for Go Local, along with John Truman, who is with Tacoma Neighborhoods Together, which is another charitable organization that helps beautify and fund projects throughout all the business districts in our area. So Go Local is a national project here, and Tacoma Neighborhoods Together is really a local one. So you see how the two work together hand in hand and build our community. So again, I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional, and I'm joined here with
Mel West, your business advisor. Thank you for joining us on Clay 1180.
Hey, we'll see you next week, Tuesday, noon to 1 for BizTechTalk. Thanks again.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office N & Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office N & Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at OfficeNandIcon.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
I know you've been thinking about adding video to your website. Don't put it off any longer. Your customers are about 75% more likely to purchase your product after learning about it in a video. Gabe Medina Productions is ready to help you put a face to your business and show your customers why your company is the better choice. We want to work with you because we want to see your business grow. Go to GabeMedinaProductions.com or call 206-250-0735 for more info. That's 206-250-0735.